Hi everyone, this is Module 6 update from Raghu Bala. And this week we covered a number of videos and from Professor Malone and Professor Winston and Professor Roos. And I'm just going to go over a quick summary of that. Um, Basically, one of the concepts that came up from Professor Winston was the concept of singularity. And then Professor Winston also mentioned that machine learning is a new kind of statistics in his talk. And actually, that resonates a lot with me because when I did stats back in college and how it's taught today, I think there's a vast difference. And actually, the two fields of stats and artificial intelligence have kind of the lines have blurred quite a bit if you have been following these two areas. And then finally, Professor Winston mentioned about this whole concept about the commercial value of AI and not replacing people and making new things possible. And I think some of you had mentioned in the forums, and I sort of agree with you. Some of the course material is maybe too much concerned about people's worry about AI replacing humans and so on. A funny thing is this professor, I guess he's a professor, former professor at MIT, Kurzweil, who joined Google, and he says by 2038, machines will have the same intellectual capacity of humans. That remains to be seen. A lot of you are young, and I am sure you'll be around to view it. Hopefully, all of us are around to see what happens in the next couple of decades. 2018, 2038, couple of decades, I think, within reach. Would be interesting to see how that turns out. Professor Roos, turning to her video, she mentioned that AI, with regard to how machines perceive and think, that they are not good at figuring things out. I tend to agree. The type of machine learning and methods and so on is very mathematical today. I think the human brain operates slightly differently. I think it's a mixture of perception, synthesis of past knowledge, as well as figuring, some emotional component to it, some creativity, and so on. Whereas the way machine learning happens is very mathematical in nature. So if you contemplate it, it's almost like left brain, right brain type of argument. I think the human brain is a combination of both left and right, whereas machines might be just purely left brain. That's at least my own viewpoint. And then she also mentioned that machines are not intuitive. So a lot of us, you call it gut instinct, you call it, sixth sense, whatever you want to call it. We all tend to feel one way or the other, and sometimes we act on our intuition. And machines act on data, and acting on data is one thing, but acting on intuition is, something that is hard to quantify computationally, at least today. So in any event, I think our humanity is, in a safe place. We do, value AI, and hopefully we can use various elements of it going forward. And then I want to turn to Professor Malone's commentary on collective intelligence. He mentioned that a number of things, like for example, serial intelligence. I think he mentioned um, guess. Humans have the ability to guess emotion through watching someone's eyes. And then he also mentioned that in any sort of smart organization, the participation of different genders, like for example, men versus women make a difference. More women uh, tend to have the group as a whole have social perceptiveness. I think it's a right observation, empirically and otherwise. Mix of genders is always a healthy thing. Otherwise, I think it gets too one-sided in one approach or the other. And then finally, about smart organizations, he said that it's a combination of smart individuals, and I think, yeah, you have to begin with some raw talent. But also, one thing he mentioned was interpersonal skills, and I always chalk it up to emotional intelligence. You can be smart, you can be intelligent, and so on, but if you don't have the ability to work with people, then that tends to either lead to no results, or a kind of unhappy situation where people are paying attention to the way you say things as opposed to what you said, and so on. So I think he's right in saying that smart organizations are made up of smart individuals, and interpersonal skills of those individuals matter a lot. And then in terms of strategy, the last point was that achieving goals is based on given the resources that you have in hand. So not a lot of organizations have the ability, especially small and medium-sized companies have the ability to go out and spend a lot of money and get the best of the best. But those who do well with the limited resources they have, that tends to be the strategy of most companies. Anyway, we are at the end of the course, and I, for one, really appreciate uh, all of your participation, and I think the same goes for the folks at Get Smart, my tutors who have helped me so much. I do want to thank them. Appreciate all of your time. The students, I made some very good relationships, friends. I've also created a LinkedIn group, posted it on the Module 6 discussion forum. I would love to see you guys participate. I think the cohort should continue having conversations and relationships over the years, because education is a lifelong thing. And then finally, I want to also mention that I know for a fact that all of you, most of you, are working, and it takes a lot of effort to go through a class of this sort online, giving up family time, giving up personal time, coming back from a hard day's work, trying to fit in some videos or learning some things or writing a paper over the weekends, nights with kids, family, wife, spouse, husband, whatnot. It's tough, and I really appreciate your effort. I've been through that myself. I know exactly what you have gone through, and all of your efforts, I think, will pay off. Hopefully, my team and I have done a good job as far as sharing information, and hopefully this turns out to be valuable in your individual careers and going forward. So thank you for your effort. Appreciate it very much, and best of luck in everything that you do.